The sergeant opened the file on the elderly man in custody, and his face went white. "Who is this guy?" he asked the officer. The officer shrugged. "I don't know, Sarge, just some old man who got into a street fight." The sergeant looked at the screen. "Delta Force, 25 years, Special Operations." His keyboard hit the floor. "Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden identity, wrongful judgment, and unforgettable truth revelation, please tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button and help us make sure these stories are never forgotten." Manhattan's Upper West Side was bustling with evening activity. Restaurants filled with diners, young people walking the streets. It was a typical New York evening. Robert Thompson, 68 years old, was walking quietly toward his apartment. He had done some grocery shopping and was carrying bags. His gray hair was neatly trimmed, wearing a simple jacket. He looked quite fit for his age, but no one would give him a second glance. At that moment, 4 young men were harassing a woman on the street. The woman was trying to escape, but they were blocking her path. "Come on, lady, we're just talking," they were saying. People around could see the situation but hesitated to intervene. There were 4 of them, and they looked aggressive. Robert observed the situation. An internal reflex kicked in. 25 years in special forces had taught him what to do in situations like this. He put down his bags and approached. "Gentlemen, please leave the lady alone." The 4 young men turned and looked at Robert. They saw an elderly man. "Who are you, old man?" "Mind your own business." Robert calmly said, "I'm not interfering, I'm asking nicely." The leader of the young men, Marcus, approached Robert aggressively. "Old man, keep walking. This isn't your business." Robert raised his hands. "I don't want trouble, kids. Just let the lady go." "Who are you to give us orders?" The woman tried to use this opportunity to escape, but the other young men blocked her. Robert saw that the polite approach wouldn't work, but at 68, fighting 4 young men didn't seem logical. "Last time I'm saying this. Let the lady go." Marcus laughed at Robert. "What if we don't? What are you gonna do?" At that moment, one of the young men reached for the woman. The soldier inside Robert awakened. He moved suddenly. In 3 seconds, Marcus was on the ground. Robert's movement had been so fast that no one had seen exactly what happened. The other 3 young men were in shock. How did this old man do that? When the fight began to escalate, citizens around had called the police. 5 minutes later, police cars arrived. The 4 young men were still on the ground while Robert stood calmly. He wasn't out of breath, wasn't sweating, as if nothing had happened. Police officer James Martinez tried to assess the situation. 4 young men on the ground, 1 elderly man standing. What happened here? The young men started shouting, "This old man beat us up. He attacked us for no reason." Robert calmly said, "They were harassing the lady." I intervened. Officer Martinez looked at Robert suspiciously. How could a 68-year-old man take down 4 young men? "Sir, did you attack these boys?" I defended myself. Witnesses around explained the situation. The young men were harassing a woman. The old man came to help. But Officer Martinez couldn't believe that Robert had taken down 4 people single-handedly. He probably used a weapon, he thought. "Do you have any weapons on you?" "No." A search was conducted, no weapons found. The situation was confusing. 4 injured young men, 1 elderly man. Officer Martinez followed procedure. "Mr. Thompson, you need to come to the station for questioning." Robert didn't object. "Okay." He was handcuffed and put in the car. He didn't speak during the ride. Officer Martinez said to his partner, "This old man is strange. He took down 4 young men by himself, but isn't even tired. Maybe he knows karate or something." "Karate at 68? That's ridiculous. When they arrived at the station, Robert went through normal procedures: photo, fingerprints, personal items intake. Name: Robert Thompson. Age: 68. Occupation: retired. Retired from what? Robert paused. Military service. The officer took notes but didn't think much of it. There were many retired military personnel. While Robert waited in the interrogation room, Sergeant Detective Mike Rodriguez began reviewing the case. He was evaluating the incident. 68-year-old man takes down 4 young men. How is that possible? He searched for Robert Thompson's information on the computer. Name, surname, age, normal records. But when he pressed one more key, different information appeared on the screen. Military files, classified access. Curious, he clicked. A warning appeared on screen. This file is classified. Unauthorized access is a federal crime, but Detective Rodriguez had clearance level. He could access the file. He clicked. The screen slowly loaded, and then Detective Rodriguez's eyes widened. Robert Thompson, Delta Force operator. Service period: 1975 to 2000, 25 years. Operation areas: Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Bosnia, 15 countries. Special skills: close combat specialist, sniper, demolitions, linguist, Arabic, Farsi, Russian. Security clearance: top secret. Notes: served 25 years in America's most elite Special Forces unit. 47 successful operations. Detective Rodriguez dropped his keyboard. Delta Force. Delta Force was the world's most elite Special Forces unit, the American military's most select, most secret, most dangerous operations unit. And the elderly man currently waiting in the interrogation room had worked in that unit for 25 years. Rodriguez rushed to the interrogation room. Robert was sitting calmly in the interrogation room, drinking water, waiting patiently. When Detective Rodriguez entered, Robert looked at him. There was a different gleam in his eyes. He was no longer an ordinary elderly man. Robert Thompson? Yes. Did you work for Delta Force? Robert smiled. Who told you that? It's in your file. Those files were classified. I accessed them with my detective clearance. Robert nodded. Yes, I worked for Delta Force. Rodriguez sank into his chair. 25 years? 25 years. 47 operations. 47. Rodriguez looked in amazement. And I arrested you for a street fight. Robert laughed. Not the first time. Mr. Thompson, Detective Rodriguez said, how did you take down 4 young men by yourself? 25 years of training. But you're 68 years old. Robert stood up, stretched his arms. Age is just a number. Training and experience never fade. Rodriguez was amazed. What kind of missions did you do in Delta Force? I can't say, still classified. Why did you retire? It was time. I wanted the new generation to take over. And what do you do now? Robert smiled. I live on my pension. I lead a quiet life. Quiet life? You took down 4 young men. They were harassing a woman. I had to stop them. Rodriguez understood. You're still protecting people. Old habits. Detective Rodriguez reevaluated the situation. Robert Thompson wasn't guilty. He was a hero trying to save a woman. Mr. Thompson, I'm releasing you. In fact, I apologize. No need. You were doing your job. How should this incident be written in the reports? Robert thought. Elderly man defended himself. That's enough. What about your Delta Force background? No one needs to know. Rodriguez nodded understandingly. Understood. Robert collected his belongings, and as he left the station, Rodriguez escorted him out. Mr. Thompson, if you ever need help. Robert smiled. Thanks, Detective. But I'm usually the one helping. When Robert left the station, the street had returned to normal. He picked up his bags and started walking toward home. Detective Rodriguez watched him. He looked like an ordinary elderly man. No one could know he was a Delta Force veteran. The next day at the station, Robert Thompson's story was being told. Officers couldn't believe it. 68-year-old Delta Force operator. 25 years special operations. 47 missions. Detective Rodriguez showed the file. All true. What's he doing now? Living in retirement, but still protecting people. That evening, Officer Martinez was passing the same street where he had arrested Robert and thought, how many Robert Thompsons are there on the streets? How many secret heroes live among us? And Robert Thompson was at home drinking his coffee, watching television. He was a normal retiree, but when necessary, his 25 years of training still kicked in. A week later, another incident happened on the same street. This time, no one called Robert Thompson, but he was there, in the shadows, continuing to protect people. Sometimes the greatest heroes come in the most ordinary packages. People like Robert Thompson live among us every day, shopping for groceries, taking the bus, sitting in parks. But when necessary, decades of training and experience kick in, because real soldiers never truly retire. They just take off the uniform. Have you ever met someone like this? Someone who looks ordinary but has an extraordinary past? Delta Force, Special Operations, Classified Missions. Share their stories in the comments, because at the Human Stories we believe that real heroes aren't always visible. Sometimes they can be a 68-year-old man carrying grocery bags, living quietly. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe. The stories of people like Robert Thompson should be told everywhere, because they live among us, and when necessary, they're still protecting us.